Howdy folks, Mackenzie here with Climate Ride to talk about how to use Facebook to host your virtual Climate Rise event on April 18th. So I'm just going to cover our top tips, and as always, if you have any questions or ideas, things you think we missed, feel free to reach out to me, Mackenzie at climateride.org. So without further ado, let's get rolling. First thing you're going to want to do to use Facebook effectively is connect your Facebook to your fundraising page. And then it's always a good idea to just make a Facebook fundraiser, especially right now. It's an easy way to up your fundraising. So you'll see that I've already created my fundraising page here. And once you do that, you log in. I think it's always a good idea to fill out some of your milestones and incentives first. And then you can just cruise on down to this area right here where you see it says Facebook fundraiser. Now, I've already done that, so I won't be able to walk you through that process, but it's really straightforward. You just click there and it'll guide you right through that process, and then you can start pulling in the donations from Facebook. Okay, so you made your Facebook fundraiser. Awesome. Now it's time to think about how you're going to effectively use Facebook to host your virtual Climate Rise event. So let's go over to my Facebook. You can spy a little bit on my very interesting activity. We have some past climate riders right up front there. And it looks like it's Katie's birthday today. Happy birthday to Katie. You're going to want to make sure and just post ahead of time about what you're doing on the 18th. I think it's a good idea to post every day leading up to the event. You definitely want to post at least the day before. And on that post, you want to type in things like, hey, I'm going to be writing as many poems as I can and live streaming it on Facebook tomorrow, Saturday, whenever. At this time, make sure you post the time zone. Usually not all your friends are in the same time zone, although some of us don't get out much. So anyways, you know who you are. And then you're also going to want to be just routinely doing things like if you get donations leading up to the event, thanking folks, reminding everybody publicly on your wall, and also tagging whoever donated so that hopefully it goes up on their wall that you'll be doing your event on April 18th. And then let's say it's the day of, you've set up your Facebook fundraiser, you did your pre-posts. It's a great idea to just post on your other social media that, hey, I'm going to be live on Facebook today. Unfortunately, one of the things about Facebook is that they don't make it easy to share the actual live stream around like some other services. So you'll just want to direct people to visit your Facebook page where they'll be able to see you live streaming. Now, you don't have to live stream the whole event, of course. If you're doing something super engaging the whole time, that's great. But otherwise, you can live stream for 15-20 minutes and then say, hey, I'm taking a break. I'll check back in 20 minutes and live stream some more stuff. Some other tips for just while you're live streaming, make sure and make a big deal about it if anybody makes a donation. If you hit any big fundraising goals, like halfway there, if you hit your final fundraising goal, make sure and have a plan for how you're going to celebrate. You can do a funny dance. You're just going to thank everybody profusely. Improvisation is great, but if you have one or two props, that's also awesome. Okay, what else can you do? Well, let's just go over real quick how you actually create the Facebook Live feed in case you don't know. It can be a little bit hard to find if you're really digging for it, but it's always right there if you're not thinking about it because you do that from your timeline. Now, Facebook feeds can look different. I'm using the most current version, and so yours might be a little bit different, but with any platform that you might be live streaming from, it's a great idea to test it out a few times ahead of time. You can do it quick. Hey, everybody, I'm just testing out my live stream sort of thing so that I can let people know about what Climate Ride's up to. It's a great nonprofit that I'm going to be supporting on April 18th. And make sure and make a donation and tune in to watch me write poetry. So how you do that is you just go to your feed, just facebook.com, and then you click and it'll say what's on your mind. And then instead of just writing that, you go to live video and then it'll guide you through how to start a live feed from there. I can go all the way through this. Hi, everybody. You can see that I have a second screen, but it's going to be a little bit different for each person. You definitely want to use camera. It's a little bit more complicated to use a stream key, use a paired encoder. If you're familiar with that stuff, go for it, obviously, but most likely, most of us will just be using our camera on our computers, or you can also set it up via the Facebook app, which is slightly different. But Facebook's really skilled and has spent a lot of money preparing people for doing this easily, so whatever, most people won't have a problem cruising through this. It's not a bad idea to schedule your live video for a future date, a few days ahead of time, then Facebook will also promote it. Great. Let's make sure I didn't miss anything. Just make sure you're staying engaged, making time to check out with any comments on your feed. You can also do goofy things every time you get a donation, or ask for advice. Get people to give you tips on what they want you to be doing right now. So, for example, if you're watching me film this live, you might say, Mackenzie, switch up your hat. And then I can switch up my hat. It's a great way to just keep people engaged and interested. Also, never a bad idea to look up some information about who you're fundraising for ahead of time and just share what they're up to, because that's why you're doing this. And you might as well let people know what Earth Justice, 350.org, and those other great nonprofits that you're supporting are doing right now on the ground as an incentive to help people get the word out and also maybe make a donation if they can. All right, folks, that's it for me. If you have any questions, again, you can email me, mackenzie@climateride.org, or let me know if there's some things I left out so I can put them in the comments. We will see you on the 18th.